Greetings.
Sorry.
That's
I don't
okay.
know.
Sorry for.
I was one after 3:30 and I just realized I don't know where Mark is though.
I don't know. I was just about to send an invite, but it's the same link I always use. So here he is. Man, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there he is. All right.
Oh, hey. I thought you needed 30 minutes.
Huh?
I thought Jonathan needed another 30 minutes.
Oh no, that was half an hour ago.
I just got it, like right now. Yeah, weird.
Sure, Mark. Sure.
I've been busy. I've been playing with cows, bears, actually. And it's 90 degrees out.
Yeah, it's hot
Yeah,
here.
I sent that at 14:01 my time, so
Yeah, I literally just sitting on my desk just got it. That's weird.
that's bizarre.
Maybe I had a bad connection.
How's your weather?
Hot.
90 degrees and hot.
And Kristen's still in a hoodie?
It's
Yeah.
cold in the office.
I have the air conditioning on in the office, and she has a little space heater under the desk running.
Because my feet get cold when I'm not moving.
I'm with
Plus,
you.
I got sunburned like crazy yesterday, so
Oh wow,
cold
that's
and you have
awesome.
sunburn.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so let me just run through where my brain's at, and then we can go a little bit. Okay, so I'm recording, yep. Okay, so share screen. So as I understand it, okay, so predominantly we have this site and this site, which are your main, technically at this point, income earners.
Correct.
And what we need to do is we need to optimize these sites for search. I mean, the marketing pieces, I mean, the collateral is just so good. Love it, you know? But from a Google perspective, when they arrive on this page, there's nothing there for it to index. So
Right.
I'd love to spend quite a bit of time working on these two sites and optimizing them for search, but also getting the blog into these sites as well. Because it's just killing us that there's nothing there on those two sites per se. Now, there's two Facebook pages that I think I'm right in saying. So this is your Breckenridge site, right? And then the Steamboat one. So they're the two pages I think I found.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the Instagram pages, I found this one, which I believe is yours.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's dormant kind of thing. And then this one as well, right? Which seems to be a lot more active.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because we're here.
Okay. So typically what we would do, we'd come alongside you. I'll just stop for a second. We would come alongside those two accounts, optimize both websites by deep interviews of you guys, finding all the right links, finding the right text, getting into the back end, fully doing all the meta description and creating a blog for each of those that would really help with Google search. Because ideally, we want to get you found on page one of Google without paying for it, which may or may not happen in the early days, but certainly that's the strategy over the first 3 to 6 months, is to get enough content so that, because I saw you had some reviews on Facebook, but getting really good Google reviews, TripAdvisor, Yelp, all of those pieces, when we tie that all in together through your Google account, the Google My Business, and then using your Google Plus page to create content so that every video that we can find that we share through your Google Plus, creating a YouTube channel for each of those that we can use, that will get us a lot more page one hits than we're currently getting.
Mm-hmm.
And then
We do have blogs though. I don't know if you saw.
they're just not on either of those websites.
Right. Okay. No, on Visit Breckenridge and Visit Steamboat, both have blogs.
So
Be a lot of them.
Yeah, we have. That's our blog pages come up a lot in search. Actually, we have a lot of people call us and stuff thinking we're.
But there's no blog in the nav.
Yeah. Hold on.
It's under, which we could redo this nav, which I'm not real excited about.
Hold on. It's under, if you go to plan, yeah. And then it says blog right there on the Everything Steamboat or Everything Breckenridge. Click there. That's our blog.
Should be a couple. Let's see, what is it?
Okay, thank you.
100 or 200 blogs on there, maybe.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome, because that's what I was going to say. That's what we need to keep on top of. Because the ideal thing is if you have the blog on the homepage, so that every time you update a blog, it updates the homepage, so it re-indexes for Google. It would be, because it was a little lost. I mean, I'd read these before, but I wasn't sure if I'd seen them on the real estate site or not. But okay, so a lot of rework that we could do to these two sites to get them optimized and repurposing those blogs. So when we get into the social media strategy, I mean, like on Breckenridge, somebody's done a really good job at liking all the local businesses, and it almost becomes like a semi-full-time job, just cruising the neighborhood, if you like. Instead of driving down the streets, you drive down the Facebook pages, and we become like the de facto Breckenridge Facebook page for everything, because you're promoting the pizza restaurant and the snowshoe rental and the snow clearing and the garbage collection, and it becomes like a portal, if you like, for everything that everybody goes to. Is that what you've tried to do in the past, or is that not, you just hadn't had the resource for that?
Just kind of fooled around with it, never done it on a consistent basis.
Because we could assign somebody to really get into that and do that locally here, or I could, over time, once we've got that sort of under our belt, if there was somebody that you could train in your area, then we would take that work and give that to that person over time. But for now, we could definitely run that through those two things, because the blog, if you like, is the center of that strategy. And more of those blogs now are becoming video driven, because those 2-minute videos that we can share on social media as well as in the website, I think will make a massive difference to engagement. So they would be the two places that we would go with that. So Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Google+, having that LinkedIn presence, you know, for a company page that we would repurpose those articles over onto LinkedIn, getting really trying to find extra reviews on those two sites, I think will actually put us on the map and give you a lot more. Now, I'm waiting for a call back from my buddy who runs, as I said to you, about 400 different resort social media pages across the Middle East. I'm on a 11-hour time difference with him or something, so I'm due a call, but right now, I was hoping he was going to call me. It is 3 o'clock in the morning his time, so he will call me probably in about 3 hours and said, I have this for you, but I haven't got that yet. But he has a level of expertise, as I said to you, with hotels right across India and the Middle East and into England, that would be fascinating to be able to ride on the back of. So I would be purposely using some of his team and my team to sort of really come up with, you know, a world-class social strategy for those two accounts. And I think, as I say, if we did that consistently on a daily basis, using those other pages and just sharing everything, will get you a lot more visibility. And then the secret with using Google AdWords would be to, obviously you've got HubSpot, you've got Infusionsoft. How well have you done at sort of attracting potential renters in terms of your database?
Well, we have a database of about 20,000, but we've weeded it. We've segmented it down to, what do we have, maybe 7,500, 8,000?
More like 6 good ones that are active. Yeah, we took out our active people and separated them from our dormant.
And how often are those newsletters going out?
We don't do newsletters. We really have some auto stuff that goes out to people who stayed with us at this time last year. They'll get a thing like, hey, you were here last year, June. We send all of our past guests like a little, tell us what your preferences are. You can get an email once a week, or you can get an email once a month, and we just send them like little updates like, hey, this is what's going on in Steamboat in a couple months, and little things. We switched from HTML emails to mostly plain text because our HTML emails, I don't think they're really awesome. Yeah. And they don't get through anymore. Junk.
Yeah, it can happen. And that's what, not embedded video, but video that they can click on and watch. We found drastically improved the open rates, because people will happily just like click on it and watch rather than read. And I just say, when you're adding in a bunch of images and stuff, it gets harder and harder to bypass all the spam filters now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But I think this email marketing for sure would be a part of what we would do there. And we have an Infusionsoft expert on team, so she could help us with that enormously as well. So that would be like a concierge done for you for those two together, that we could easily pick up and run with for you guys if that's what you're looking to. The other piece then is looking at oh yeah, I'm just going to show you this in a second. Would be a homepage redesign on those sites. We're just it's kind of similar actually in a way, but you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a former Sassy. She was a 4-year Sassy, and she retired out a year or so ago. She lives in Florida, but she for 6 months here, and then the other 6 months she lives, I think it's in Vail, and her and her husband snowboard every single day. So she's also a very good consultant with women in tech. Her name is Donna Siriani, and her site goes live this week. But this is a homepage that we designed for Donna to really build around her two loves. And I'm thinking that everything that we just created here, we could repurpose into a homepage for your sites, because it would look so, I mean, it could be there, right? And then bringing that sort of level of depth in. So it has us scrolling down the phone, it's like thinking about renting, thinking about buying, and sort of take them on this sort of journey, if you like, through the mountain pass. And we could definitely sort of work this into those sites to give it a lot more homepage appeal, and tie in with whatever aspects you've got with the search. And if you had a podcast coming up, or if you had the VR revolution sort of thing, that all of these pieces could go into that homepage. And I think that would give it a really strong facelift, and really improve traffic and the bounce rate if we came up with something a lot fresher, because you can see that compared to where am I? To this kind of thing, it's night and day. So, plus the fact that the Breckenridge and the Steamboat are identical too for that same image. We could do a lot with that, which I think would make, that's a great picture, but I think there's a lot we could do differently.
Customize it more to the area.
Yeah. And as I say, with Donna's site, I mean, we use some stock pitch, but there's probably exact pictures from those two areas that we could pick. And bring it in. And if we had a video to run with this to begin with, I think it would make a massive difference to what we could do there on those two sites. It would just make them visually a lot more 21st century, if you like. And
this needs to be more guest-centered and less us-centered, is the biggest problem I see. And there's no call to actions, basically.
Well, there's no sales. There's no story. There's no story.
No, so we'd work with you. We'd write all that and then finish those sites off in those sort of two respects.
Yeah.
So we could do that as part of all of that package. And then the second piece is the VR Revolution page. So obviously with the book that's coming out, I mean, the ideal thing is you want to build a whole new database of people around this site, right? With the Facebook group. So
it's a different audience.
Totally audience. So I would give it the same sort of look in terms of a very engaging homepage with lots of opportunities to sign up. Well, as I said, we did with that log cabin company is we have the Google AdWords, and all it runs in different states is they get that PDF of the plans of the different books. And it's getting us about 300 very good quality leads a month, of which, as I said, 6 to 8 of them turn into a sale. And the average site price is between 80 and 110,000. So the high ticket conversions from that strategy, we're not spending a lot of money on Google AdWords. There is an alternative strategy that we're experimenting, which is just YouTube videos that people literally these videos are featuring on the homepage with those keywords, and that we're getting them to watch the video and then the call to action after the video too, which is another strategy that we could run with. And but the vacation rental site, obviously there's going to be a lot of content from the book and the course, but this site's incredibly light. And I want to give, and this could be obviously properties wherever in the United States, or Canada even, it wouldn't have to just be those two towns, but we could come up with something very exciting to bring all of this into play and put that together too. So all of those, I consider the Breckenridge and Steamboat one strategy, and then that's obviously another strategy.
Oh yeah.
Two different strategies.
Yeah, but we absolutely could do both, and then come up with social media specifically for the VR revolution, which would be separate again, and then feature specifically those same platforms, but with a different style and tone. And the more success stories we could get out of that from the people that you know and work with already. I mean, I looked at the real estate prices in Breckenridge. I mean, I'm like, am I reading that right? I'm like, no, I'm not. That is right.
Crazy.
That is serious. I mean, I thought Whistler was expensive, but
it's crazy. Yeah, no, so we've got, the good news is with the two marketing sites, Visit Breckenridge, Visit Steamboat, we have lots of testimonials, reviews from all of our properties. I mean, hundreds and hundreds. So, I mean, got lots of content for that. We just need to take a whole new approach on that homepage and really, create a feeling of, hey, we're talking, we're here to serve you, and it's all about you, the user, and less about us. And here's some calls to action, and here, let's get you in our funnel. And we just haven't ever done that. Yeah. And I think I explained last time is that right now 95% of our business is coming from the channel partner sites like VRBO and Airbnb. So if we can figure out a way to make the numbers work, then it's on driving traffic to our own sites, and it's worth it, right?
Yeah,
and whatever that
right organic social strategy, we could go a long way towards that.
Yeah.
So something we have kind of encountered and wondered how we should, if we should be changing things is, we do now over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, have kind of accrued a decent amount of blogs and stuff like that, and just content in general on the website. But it brings us a lot of people who are not the people we're looking for. It's a lot of people who are in Breckenridge searching on stuff. I know it's good that they're finding us because it's bringing up our value, and maybe that's all they're good for, and it's okay. But we seem to get a lot of people, they're not converters. They're just on the site reading about it like we're a chamber. And we kind of really want to differentiate ourselves from a chamber versus vacation rentals and stuff like that. Because that's something, that we want to make sure we're not kind of appealing to the people that already have their stuff, their places rented, they're just coming already.
Yeah, and that's where the Facebook page could be a little piece of that, but not. I mean, sometimes on websites we've actually put this website is not for you if, and actually made that really, really clear on the homepage. And it's okay, great. But if you are interested in that, then here's a link to the chamber, and actually put that straight into the homepage.
That's a good idea. And the interesting thing is there's a lot of pain points that we can touch on to these users, to these guests, because, there's a lot of frustration that goes on. It's if you think about coming skiing, particularly, the summer is not as complicated, but a ski trip is rather complicated and in depth. There's a lot of components. There's lodging, there's lift tickets, there's ski rentals, there's activities, there's dining. So there's all these components, and I can tell you and our ideal customer is overwhelmed by, and particularly when they go on VRBO or Airbnb and they see 8,000 listings just in Breckenridge, right? Yes. And it's overwhelming. So to me, I've always thought about it as we have to find those people that are overwhelmed and serve them. And, certainly there's those people like myself. I prefer just to go on and do my own research and search around and book my own place without talking to anyone. But there are tons of people that don't have a clue. They are booking, they think they're booking a ski in, ski out property, and it's not, because they don't know the area, they don't know what they're doing. So those are the people we really have to find and hone in on and help them. And that's where, hey, listen, just talk to us. We will guide you. We will be your guide to find the perfect place, because it's an expensive trip. You're talking, $10,000, $15,000 a week to come skiing. This is a significant investment. Nope. So it's kind of that message is, hey, don't mess up your vacation by picking the wrong place because you don't know what you're looking for.
So if we created like the ultimate guide to renting in Breckenridge as a like an ebook,
Lead magnet.
that became the lead magnet. I mean, this is the one that we do, and we get a number every month, about 250 signups a month just for this. I don't even advertise it, just because it's exactly what they need. And we made that sort of like the download, and for Google AdWords and the site, then that could be super useful then. And we could just make it look like an iPad sort of book, if you like, just differentiate between the two resorts, and then make that the download. Yeah, no, love that. Okay.
So the other major hurdle I think that we have to overcome with these people, first of all, we have to find those people I just described, right?
Yep.
The second major hurdle that we always fight in the vacation rental industry is trust, and trust and uncertainty. And there's a VRBO and Airbnb have built a significant amount of trust on their sites. So sometimes, I think people look at these off sites like ours, the non-VRBO, non-Airbnb, and maybe don't have the trust level. So that's maybe something that just to keep in mind that we have to think about too, that we may be overcoming as an objection.
I think that's where the video really makes a difference, because if it's you're like in Steamboat, Kristen, and you're saying, this is what we do. We live here, what is here, this is our life, from riding a horse to riding a snowboard, that's my year. And when they get to see you as a person, then and the same with you, Mark, it totally makes sense, because you are looks to me like you're the main realtor for that area as well. And you're obviously well known in the local area. And just think, I've been a realtor for 20 years. I mean, I know every street, I know every property, what comes for sale, what goes around. I walk the streets, and I know that when you're coming, it's overwhelming. So this is what we're set out to do. We're set out to be your guide, your Sherpa, if you like, to everything you need to know. High trust.
We've never done a good job of positioning ourselves as the guide, and we've never done a good job at making the guest user the hero, of the story. We've never done a good job at it. So we need to focus on, let's make the guest the hero.
Yes.
Stories about the guest searching, and we are their guide. And let's establish ourselves as a guide on the website and establish them as the hero on the website and take them on a journey on the homepage and treat it like a sales page, and essentially the homepage, and start engaging them. And that's really what we need to do. Yeah, certainly we need to do that on VRR as well. But from the vacation rental, we've just tried, different things, but never done a good job at that.
Well, and then we try things, but we change. We don't usually follow through too much until we're changing things again.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, that would be our job, to sort of stay on track, and then for us to have our own Slack channel between us and just stay in communication all the time, so that you can constantly be sending us pictures or ideas, and it's devoted just to you guys for that. Yeah, that's very doable. It'd be very exciting to, and then I have to come and visit,
Of course. And we have a nice place for you to stay for free. It's not during Christmas or New Year's.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I just stay away from your horses, Kristen, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come near the horses. How about cows? Are you allergic to cows too?
Nope.
Oh, just horses.
Just horses. Well, Mark's got horses too.
Whatever is in the saliva, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Same as
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all right.
So
that sounds good.
Okay, so I sent you a rate sheet, Mark, and if you had a chance to look at that.
Yeah.
Typically, I can go through that now with you. Actually, just bear with me. I'll walk
Mark, will you forward it to me too?
I did. It's in your Facebook.
Oh, it's in Facebook.
Yeah. He sent it to me over Messenger. So.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah, I couldn't quite.
Which is fine. I just forwarded it to myself.
Where did I? No, not that one. Not that one. I had it open a second ago. I'll open it again.
Oh, got it.
So, I mean, it's all on our website under what we call This is a little hybrid between a couple of different things that we do. Just waiting for it to open here and I can walk you through it. Okay, stop share, go back to my other monitor. Okay, so typically what we do is we come alongside a client, if you can see this, looking at the email marketing, how they built the list, how you've used social for the engagement strategy, and how we create that community. And obviously, you've got some great branding already, but we would do a deep discovery session, get all of this detail, work out what it would look like, work out a content calendar so we know what's coming up, week to week, month to month, special festivals or different launch dates when the ski lodge opens for buying licenses and all that kind of thing. So we have that built in. Look at how we then start using that email list to leverage that. So then over the first 2 months, what we do is we do all of the above and we start to get into a pattern of writing for social media for you. It's kind of like a relationship. I mean, some things, we will do that you'll love. Some things just like, yeah, it wasn't quite on point. So we need to know what's going to work for you. So it's very much, it's a bit like dating, just getting to know each other. So that's why we produce sort of a lot of posts in a scheduling tool, and then you can have a look at those, and if they work for you, we can publish. And then as you get more comfortable, and you can add to these too. I mean, it's not exclusive, so we'll be very much a partnership, so that we build that through very much geared around what that would look like for the next 6 to 12 months. So either we keep running it for you, or we find somebody that we can pass this on to. So the setup includes the content plan, getting all of those units together, starting looking at the analytics and the data, and just Facebook data right now is just horrible, but Instagram is way better. And then we're getting into Instagram stories, and we're getting into what's called IGTV and Facebook business stories, which are just coming out. So there's going to be a number of things that we can create that would make a big difference. So we put that together, and then Google My Business is a big part of that, and getting that Google Plus set up. So within the first month, we get all that working and get a pattern for ourselves. But by the second month, we're sort of totally into that. And then we would create a lot of custom graphics for you through Canva. So if we have a lot of background images of the area and specific phrases that we want to get found for, then we would create all of those as part of that. We'd redo the Facebook header images to get that whole new branding running right across the whole network. And the 2 months of work to do that, typically it's for one set of accounts, but as they're so similar, I'd be good to sort of do the 2 of them actually for this. So that would be our price 15 for 2 months of work for both accounts to get everything fully populated and up and running, and for us to really get to understand you, as well as optimize the websites for SEO, as we talked about, and redo those 2 homepages. I'd say I'm bonusing in a ton of stuff here because I'm excited. And I also know you just bought Sassy and everything else that went with it. So 2 new homepages.
You know how that hurts.
So full support. And sorry, what was that?
I said, you know how that hurts, right?
Oh,
that Sassy Elite.
I've written the checks, man. But I also know, what my ROI was too. So
yeah, it's worth it.
And then as it goes deeper, once we get into like month 3, then we need to cherry pick a package. I mean, we'd be definitely sort of somewhere in the middle one. And this is where we go sort of into 2 units, because we will be keeping them separate after the first 2 months. So we can look at how many touch points, how many social, what it looks like to work with us on a month-to-month basis, what we would typically do against each platform that we would run with. And then with the blogs, obviously you've got a lot of blogs that we can repurpose, which is great. If you want us to help write new ones, whether we need to go back and recategorize the ones you have for SEO, because I haven't seen how well they're optimized. So we typically recommend a blog every other week for fresh content. But if you've already got several hundred and we can reuse them and repurpose them, then we're just doing that. That would be great. The email newsletter, I think there is obviously some leverage in using that together, and then we have this combined price for doing those. All the original search engine work I've included in that first price, but if we were to carry on, typically to keep a site optimized, so we keep going back to the meta tags and looking at the keywords that Google are ranking us for and seeing what we want to do. And then we adjust the back end of the site on a month-to-month basis. That's what we charge for that. But the one-time $1,500 is already included in the first 2 months of the other one. Custom video is something that I'd love to sort of talk about, whether we could find some people locally or whether, you know, I arrive with my guy and we do a couple of days or something like that. That's very doable. And then there's also SEO video campaigns that, again, we could play with and just see how that might work. I have a company that works on results, so they don't charge at all until you get ranked on page 1 for those keywords, and then we pay them. So that's a possibility too. And
Is
then,
that custom video production? Is that $1,500 per minute?
so that's that. Typically, when we film and then edit and produce, that's approximately what it costs per minute. Done. Yeah. So a 2-minute video, you'd be looking at about $3,000 filmed, edited, and built. I'd have to add travel onto that because that's our local cost. Or I could get to somebody and work with them and have that done. But that's typically a rule of thumb of what it would be. Sometimes we do like a fixed price of like $2,500 a video, just seeing how that works. But that's how we go through that. Different landing pages, we wanted to create those within the website. We would look at those. Shouldn't be too difficult to do that. Custom audiences for Facebook and Google, we look at as well. If we go into sort of Google AdWords, and then these are all the different a la carte services that we have. So really, you're in this one here. As I say, this is a group program site that we run. What we also run with that group program site is we have 2 full-on training courses that we run twice a year. So we have the social media bootcamp and also the power content, which is the blog writing. So you'll get seats for those 2 courses in the fall as well if someone wants to sort of up their skill level or us train somebody, and bring those 2 in. Cool. And that's what we could do. VR Revolution is a different story. I'd like to have another conversation about that one, but that's still formulating, so we could come back to that a little bit, but that's what we could definitely do on these 2.
Okay, sounds good. Well, yeah, let me crunch the numbers on that, and then so basically on your startup stuff, or you've included everything we've talked about in that 15,000
for both sites. Yeah,
get going for both sites for the first couple months, get kind of everything put together, set up, content, you know, everything ready to launch, basically launchable or launched, and then to maintain, you're talking about the monthly.
Yeah, so we would be able to start early August. So with a view to sort of by early September, we're feet away. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Awesome. Have a talk, and then
Cool.
and then we'll have another conversation. Lindsay, actually, who's my head of web design, are you going to the Sassy retreat as well as a PE retreat?
Yeah.
So she'll be there next week, and I've asked her to make time to hang out with you guys. So
she'll be at the regular Sassy retreat.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, Kristen will be at that one.
Yeah, I'm not in the PE, but I'm in the regular advanced. So Lindsay will be there. So she'd be the one who'd be managing the web design phase of it anyway. I'd be doing the social media piece, but yeah, so she'll be there next week.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on the VRR, you know, like I said, the first thing I think we want to look at is get the website done. You know, that's just a image right now sitting there, so there's no content per se.
Yeah.
And then work on driving traffic to that group.
Yeah.
We really want to start building that audience.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, we want to start building that on. You know, I think our first strategy with VRR is to pull as many people into that group so that we can start helping people immediately and gathering, you know, really good content and intel to continue developing the courses and the
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to know what the course looks like, what the book's going to look like, and then we could get our head around that. But that's a whole website waiting to happen. The whole new focus and.
Yeah, and we want to definitely get onto the content train and get that rolling too, because I know that's going to be a generator, and YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just hired another team member last week, so she's itching for client work right now. She's still in training, so we'd have the capacity to run with that.
Good.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Good.
Guys.
Well, I will
Thank you
circle
so
back. And
much.
when are you leaving? You're leaving?
I'm here till Saturday. So, Saturday afternoon we head out, but yeah, all week I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to circle back with you in the next couple of days.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you so much, Christian.
Jonathan.
You guys.
Jonathan. Bye.